Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as I show you how to collect the seeds from a Nigella plant. So let's go. Nigella, also called Love in a Mist, is an annual here where I live in New Hampshire Zone 5B. And even though it's an annual, it almost acts like a perennial in that it likes to drop its seeds and self-sow very readily. So if you have this plant in your landscape, let it drop its seeds and you'll end up with the plant year after year, as long as you don't disturb the soil too much at the base of the plant. I've had it in my landscape off and on for a number of years, and it comes in a lot of different colors as well as a bunch of different varieties. Some people like to use it in cut flower arrangements, and other people actually like to use it in a dried flower arrangement. In fact, the seed pod on Nigella plants is very interesting. It's quite unique and different from many other plants that you might have in your garden. It loves cool weather and it blooms during the early spring months. The plant that I have is actually right here, and I had winter sown the seeds. I never got the plants taken out of the winter sown milk jug. They bloomed beautifully while they were in the milk jug, and I noticed the other day that the plant was starting to go to seed. So I figured I might as well show you my process for collecting the seeds from the plant. Before I say much more about Nigella, I do want to tell you that I have a lot of videos on my channel that show you how to collect the seeds from lots of different flowers, annuals, perennials, as well as biennials. What I'll do is I'll put a link to it right above, but I'll also put a link to the playlist down in the description below. If you're looking to collect the seeds from a plant, be sure to check out that playlist. I have a number of videos that I put out there, and the reason I put those videos out there was honestly because I used to look for seeds. I didn't know what I was looking for. I looked on YouTube for videos, basically a library of videos that showed how to harvest your own seeds from plants, and I didn't find a one-stop place where I could find videos like that. So one of my goals on my channel is to make a nice big playlist of as many plants as I can, showing you how to collect the seeds from those plants. So I hope you check out that playlist. You'll find a lot of great videos out there. I told you this was an interesting plant. Check out the seed pods. What you're looking for when you collect your seeds is you want to make sure that the seed pod is not green. You want to make sure that the seed pod has turned more of a brown color. So these are examples of seed pods that I'm going to keep on the plant, and I'm going to let them ripen over time. They don't have seeds that are inside of them that are ready for me to pick, meaning the seeds are not viable. If I was to pull this off right now, yes, eventually this pod would turn brown, but there's no guarantee that the seeds inside of there would be viable and would create a plant. It's really better to leave the seed pods on your plant and let them naturally turn brown, and then you can go ahead and harvest the seeds from that seed pod. This is an example of a seed pod that I can take and I can harvest the seeds from it. Notice the color. It's definitely more of a brown color. And if you look at the top of it, it looks almost like a star that's opening up. That's what you're looking for. That tells you that the seeds that are in there are ready to be harvested. And you want to collect those seeds before that star opens up too much and the seeds drop to the ground. So let's go ahead and just pull off the seed pod very carefully. And I'm going to leave the rest of the seed pods on here. I'm going to let them ripen on their own once they start to turn that brown color, and once the little star on the top starts to open up even more, then I'll know that it's time to collect the seeds, but they're not quite ready yet. So let's go ahead and open up the seed pod. And I'm just basically breaking it apart with my fingers. Some of the seeds may have already dropped, so the number of seeds that you find within a seed pod will vary. But remember, each seed that you collect will create one whole plant. So I'm just moving aside any of the non-seed material, which is also called chaff. And that's just a close-up of what the seeds as well as the chaff look like. If I had a lot of seed pods, I could also take the seed pods, place them on here, which this is just a folded piece of paper, and I could just crush all of the seed pods to release the seeds. I could also use something like a kitchen strainer, and if the seeds were small enough to fit through the kitchen strainer, then the seeds would fall, but then all the non-seed material would stay above the kitchen strainer. And that's another way you can separate out your seeds. Once the seeds have dried in about 1 week, I'm going to go ahead and store them. I can throw away this material here, and this folded piece of paper can act like a funnel. It can funnel all of the seeds into what I'm going to collect my seeds in, which is a small Ziploc bag. You don't have to use a Ziploc bag. If you want to, you can use an envelope, paper bag, whatever you have handy. But I do like to label it. So you can see I wrote down Nigella, Love and Mist. I also like to put down the year that I collected the seeds. The reason I put the year down is I want to know how viable these seeds are when it comes time to getting them planted. And the reason is seeds only have a certain shelf life, and it's going to vary from seed to seed. In other words, they're going to become less and less viable. So you want to make sure you're always planting seeds that are fairly fresh. I'll be storing my seeds in a cool, dark, dry location. By collecting your own seeds, you can save so much money. I love collecting the seeds from all different sorts of plants. I really enjoy the process, but I also enjoy starting my own seeds. When it comes to Nigella seeds, you can start them indoors under some sort of grow lights. You can also scatter them outside somewhere in your landscape. Another thing you can do is you can use the winter sowing process. There are a lot of different ways to accomplish that task. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you've ever grown Nigella from seed, and if so, what variety and what was your process. If you have any questions or comments, I love hearing from you. Please drop them down below. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.